Hi everyone, welcome to week 3. So we're going to be making patterns in a program called Photopea. And it's basically an equivalent to Photoshop, so it's raster based or pixel. It's a pixel program. So you go ahead and you create a new file and you title it whatever you want for this. This is just a demo. And we're going to be doing pattern with it. So everything should be fairly familiar because you've used Photoshop before. This program is set up exactly like it, but it's online and it's free. So here are all your tools on the side. I just made a new layer so I could start. And I'm going to use this brush tool to make something. You can use the shape tools or the pen tool, whatever you'd like. But I'm starting with the brush tool, and I'm actually going in and changing the colors. So for this poster, let's say I'm doing it on deforestation. So I'm going to have trees as my example pattern. So I'm going to make one tree, and it's not going to be very detailed. This is going to be just a quick little rendering of a tree. And what I'm going to do next is make the trunk of the tree. So I'm going, instead of green, I go to brown. So this color picker is all very similar to what Photoshop looks like. And what I actually want to do is make another layer. You can't see the layer picker on the bottom for some reason, but it's right below there, and it looks just like it does in Photoshop with the little square with the triangle. I made a new layer. I put it underneath the first one because the trunk wants to go underneath the tree leaves, and I'm just making some highlights on this tree. So it's not a great rendering of a tree, but it's a tree and it looks good enough, and you'll see when it is a pattern, it'll all kind of come together. So I have my tree, I'm pretty satisfied with it. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to merge these two layers, that way it's all one layer and it's all one shape. So you right click on it and you hit merge layers. So I've selected both, I merged the layers, now I just have layer 1, which is with my tree, and then I have a background layer. And now this is me finding where the next step is. I forgot that it was an edit, but then I eventually find it. There I go. Edit, define new, pattern. So that's how you make a pattern. So now you'll see pattern added at the top. And what I'll do next is I'm going to make a shape. And here are the shape types. I'm going to pattern. Now that's a preset pattern. We don't want that one. We want my tree pattern. So I select the tree pattern. And here I can play with the scale. So the scale means not of the object, but of the pattern itself within. So the trees are getting smaller and farther away in our picture almost. So now I have a bunch of little trees all lined up in this pattern, and I'm going to get rid of the layer that had my original drawing because I don't need that anymore because I have the pattern. So you could also hide this layer, so I'm putting it in the trash bucket down there. So now I have this shape, and you'll notice that the pattern doesn't change no matter what you do to the shape. So I'm using the free transform tool, which is basically how you manipulate vectors in Photoshop, in this case Photopea. And I'm turning it at the corners, it still stays the same, so the pattern won't shift. So there are some limitations to this program, but I encourage you to explore it and see what you can do with it. And if you find a different way to make patterns or different pattern settings, do let me know in Google Classroom and I will share it with the class. So thank you everyone and stay safe. Again, ask me or Miss McPhee questions if you have them through Google Classroom or email.